Hi guys, it's Hania here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we are going to make walnut crescent rolls. These are so good. You're gonna love these. I'm also going to show you how to make the walnut filling. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients: all-purpose flour, 1 whole egg, 2 egg yolks. I'm using oil, a little bit of salt, granulated sugar. I have here dry yeast, and I also warmed up some milk. You want to make sure that you use milk that is warm, not hot. It should be about 115 degrees of Fahrenheit. Prepare the yeast. I'm adding a little bit of sugar to the milk and then dump all of the dry yeast into the milk. Using a whisk or a fork, you can whisk it until combined. While the yeast is working, we can prepare the flour mixture, adding granulated sugar and salt to the flour. Give it a quick stir. I'm gonna be using my KitchenAid mixer, so I'm gonna dump the flour into the bowl. This is the yeast mixture. You can see it's foamy on the top and it's ready to go now. So all you have to do is make a well in the center, and now you can add yeast, egg yolks, 1 whole egg. I'm using vegetable oil, and I'm gonna be using a hook attachment to knead the dough. Start on a low setting. This process is going to take several minutes. Use a wooden spoon or a spatula to move the flour away from the sides so it gets all incorporated. If you're looking for the recipe and for the measurements, I posted the full recipe down below in the description area. Now I'm gonna add extra flour on my work surface, and it looks like the dough is done. This is a soft dough, so it's a little sticky, so you have to coat your hands with a little bit of flour. And now you're ready to dump it onto the work surface. And then again, coat your hands with some flour and coat the whole thing with flour, and you're gonna have to knead this for about 5 minutes. Once you form a ball, you can stop kneading. Take a clean bowl and spray it with some non-stick spray, or you can also brush it with olive oil. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap. If you don't have plastic wrap, you can also use damp paper towel or damp kitchen towel. I'm gonna be proving the dough in the oven, so here is what I like to do. I like to put about 3 to 4 cups of boiling water into a baking dish, and then we'll put this in the oven. So I usually have it set up like this. Then you want to close the oven and let it rise for 1 hour. While that's rising, we can prepare the walnut filling. To grind the walnuts, I'm using walnut grinder, or this is actually a nut grinder, but I personally primarily use this for walnuts. It's really easy to use and it's very effective. You can grind quite a lot of walnuts in very little time, and then the walnuts come out at the front. I would not recommend using this tool to grind the almonds. For the almonds, I would probably use blender that I have used successfully in the past. Here's a quick tip. Sometimes there are walnuts accumulated around the edges, so you want to crank it opposite direction and then crank it forward, and you are done. If you have a food processor, you can also use food processor. Unfortunately, I haven't been very successful with food processor and walnut grinding. I always find they're quite large bits of walnuts. So depending on a project, you can always use food processor, but if you're looking for finer texture, I would recommend that you use the nut grinder that I'm using in the video. For the filling, I'm using ground walnuts, warm milk, melted butter, and powdered sugar. Now you can add melted butter. When adding warm milk, make sure you add the milk gradually, just so you don't add too much and then your filling is gonna be watery. I'm looking for a paste consistency filling. This is my secret ingredient. I'm using rum. It adds a really nice flavor to the filling. If you don't want to use rum, you can also option for vanilla extract. It needs a little more milk, so I'm adding some more. This filling can be prepared ahead, and you can just store it in an airtight container in a refrigerator. Let it come to room temperature before you fill the dough. So this is the dough after 1 hour. You can see it has risen really nicely. Dump it onto a floured surface, and using a knife or a pastry scraper, divide it into 4 sections. Now take each section and knead it until you form a ball. Now add a little bit of flour to the work surface and roll out the dough into a round. There is a little bubble in the dough, which is always a good sign with yeast dough. You want to roll it out fairly thinly, it doesn't have to be really thick. Now divide it into sections. Now I'm brushing the ends with a little bit of milk. Now you can add the filling. You can spread it, or you can just add about I like to add quite a lot of filling, so I think it's about 1 tablespoon or so, but you can add less if you'd like to. Now starting at the wider side, you can roll it up like this. And now we can put it onto a baking sheet. Now take some warm milk with some melted butter, or you can add about 1/4 teaspoon of oil to the milk, or you can just use milk, you don't have to use butter, and brush each crescent with this mixture. You have to let this rise again for about 40 minutes, and then we can bake these off in the preheated oven. I'm using 350 degrees of Fahrenheit and about 18 to 20 minutes depending on the oven. You can see some of the filling oozed out, but that's okay. We really don't mind eating more filling. And this is what they look like inside. They are really soft and airy. These can be also made ahead of time. You can freeze these and just let them come to room temperature, or you can also put them in a microwave for a quick reheat. And that's how you make these walnut rolls. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my other recipes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.